had to relocate to buildings outside of the financial district. The NYSE says that computer and communications inside the exchange are working fine, as are key links between members. The neighborhood's workers are hanging tough.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't scared, but I'm certain that we'll get through.
America is strong and we will do the best. I'm 100% for that.
I'm confident. I'm not afraid.
The opening tomorrow, Lou, will also be a major test for the city's transportation system. Subways are open, although major lines will be moving much more slowly. We have one major Hudson River crossing that still isn't open. That's, of course, the Holland Tunnel. And, of course, commuter trains from New Jersey. Those who used to go to the World Trade Center aren't running either. So, Lou, it is a test way beyond the walls of this exchange.
Okay, Bruce. Thanks. Bruce Francis. One of the neighbors, if you will, of what was the World Trade Center is the World Financial Center, and prominent in that facility and complex is the American Express building. The American Express building, evacuated, fears that it also had structural damage and questions about its structural integrity. But American Express says it's ready for business, and the man who knows and decides whether it's ready for business is here with us now. Ken Chenault, the CEO, the chairman of American Express. Ken, good to have you with us.
Glad to be here.
For, like all of us who work in this city, this has been an incredible period for you and for all of your employees, but you're confident that you can be back to work and ready to go tomorrow morning.
Yes, I think clearly this is a tragedy of epic proportions, but we're very confident that we will be able to manage on. In fact, throughout this horrible tragedy, American Express has been functioning for all of our businesses. We, in fact, have not been able to go back into the building, but that has not stopped us from providing services to our customers.
And you've actually had to take other space and to relocate your employees in very short order, have you not?
Yes, we in fact have had to secure space for close to 5,000 employees in the tri-state area.
Ken, if we can, I'm going to ask Chris Valenti, our director, that your building, the American Express building, is prominent behind us. I'm going to ask if we can get a shot. It is on the left side, the uppermost, the tallest structure there. Now, we have heard alternately over the course of the past 4 days the American Express building is in danger, that it is fine, that they have found structural problems, that indeed the structural integrity has been assured. Where are we today?
My best knowledge is that the building is structurally sound. That's what we understand. But the very important point, Lou, and I've said this to our organization, that American Express is not defined by its headquarters building. It's defined by its people and its spirit and its character. And wherever our employees physically reside, that is American Express.
Well, that's wonderfully said, and I know it's got to be incredibly frustrating to you as the CEO to be given alternate stories as to whether or not the basic structure of your building is, in point of fact, intact. When do you think you'll know?
I think that hopefully over the next several days and weeks we will know, but the most important part of my job is to make sure that we're meeting the needs of our employees and customers, and we are doing that irrespective of the condition of the building.
And my guess is that those who run every major firm down there and every other firm would probably feel much the same way. We've got a lot of talk about what to expect when the New York Stock Exchange opens tomorrow. I think it's wonderful that people are talking about when it opens, because this is, after all, just a gargantuan project against absurd hurdles to do it. What do you think will happen tomorrow?
I do not believe that there will be panic. I think what's very important is that this country has weathered crises before. And I believe that we have the strongest financial system in the world. We have the most efficient capital markets. And I believe that there will be calm. There certainly will be ups and downs in the market. There clearly are short-term concerns. But I believe that the American people will have faith in the financial markets.
Let me ask you to do this, Ken. As people are watching us, millions of people, not only in this country but around the world, a lot of people are going to have to make a lot of judgments tomorrow. Any advice you want to give them?
What I would say is don't be short-sighted. Focus on what your long-term financial objectives are. See what happens. Don't make snap judgments. And in fact, have faith that we do indeed have a very strong economy.
Ken Chenault, CEO of American Express, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.
Well, we've seen the physical signs of Americans pulling together in this time of crisis, blood drives, fundraising, volunteerism. Now Americans are pulling together emotionally. We have the most recent CNN Gallup poll. It was released just hours ago. And when asked, do you approve or disapprove of the way President George W. Bush is handling his job, Mr. Bush received an 86% approval rate. That is 35% higher than just a week ago. Gallup also asked, do you think the United States should or should not take military action in retaliation for the attacks on the World Trade Center and the Pentagon? 88% surveyed said Americans should take action, while 8% said we should not. Americans also showed a lot more support for the economy. And Frank Newport, the Gallup organization, joins us now. Frank, tell us about your findings.
Well, Lou, the presidential approval rally effect is what pollsters have called that for many years as evidence of what we're seeing. Let me show you another measure, which is, are you satisfied or dissatisfied with the way things are going in the United States? This is a measure a lot of people thought would drop from last weekend to this weekend, but look at the trend here. From last weekend, it had gone down to 43%, all the way up to 61%, an 18-point rise in that measure of overall satisfaction. It does translate over to our economic measures that we updated last weekend to this weekend. That slide that we are seeing stopped, actually, when we ask Americans rate the economy. The percent saying excellent or good is actually back up. You can see 15 percentage points or so. Even when we ask Americans, comparing last weekend to this weekend, where do you think the economy is going, we find a increase in the percent, not dramatic, but an increase down here in the percent who say they think the economy is going to be better looking ahead rather than worse. So all in all, this rally effect looks like it's translating over to economic measures. Not all measures. We did say, personally, do you think you'll be better off or worse off a year from now? And we really found stability in that measure, not a dramatic change either way. But all in all, this kind of rally effect could have an impact on consumer confidence and spending, which might be a positive sign for the economy. One last point, Lou. Stock investors. Did the tragedies of Tuesday make you more likely or less likely to want to invest in stocks? Vast majority says no change whatsoever, and actually slightly a few more stock investors say they're more likely to invest now rather than less likely. That goes to the hypothesis we just heard that we don't anticipate any kind of great panic, at least from investors, and it looks like the average American out there may be solid in terms of his or her spending. Lou, that's an update.
Frank, we just heard Ken Chenault, the CEO of American Express, tell Americans to keep the faith, and apparently that is exactly what they intend to do based on the findings in your poll. That is certainly reassuring. Ted Weisberg is a veteran floor trader at the New York Stock Exchange. He was just a few blocks from the World Trade Center at the time of the attack. He has worked through, of course, bear markets and bull markets, through slow economic times and better. But tomorrow he's facing something he's never faced before on Wall Street. Ted is here now, and he is joined to his left by Christine Romans, who spends her days usually at the New York Stock Exchange. Ted, let me begin with you, with your experience, your view. I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Ken Chenault. What happens tomorrow?
Well, I really don't know, but the good thing is, I guess, if there's anything good at all, that we've had 5 or 6 days to think about things and to gather our thoughts, and hopefully investors will not act emotionally, and they'll think clearly. And
well, you know, I think your experience over this period of time, one thing we've seen, the professionals, if you will, sometimes don't always fall in line perfectly. But it seems the private investor, the little guy, as he or she is sometimes referred to, seems to always be the wisest in these markets. Has that been your experience?
Well, I think it depends on what time period you're talking about. But we know that so much of stock trading, Lou, is emotionally driven.
Right.
And we are clearly in a highly emotional period of time at the moment. And I think to the degree to which investors and traders will be successful, if in fact it's success we're going to try to achieve here in the next couple of days.
You're the professional. Are we going to see it open at 9:30? And if we do, what's it going to look like operationally?
Oh, I think absolutely we'll open at 9:30. I don't think the stock exchange would say they would if they couldn't. I think they'll be 100%, and I think everybody will be ready to go. It's the world's greatest stock exchange. It's a huge institution.
You, like nearly all of us who live and work in this city, has experienced loss and shared pain with those who have suffered loss. What will be the psychology, the mood in the exchange tomorrow?
Well, I think that most of us probably don't want to be there, but that's where we'll be. That's our job, and that's where we'll be. I think given a choice, we'd rather be overworking with the volunteers, searching for survivors, but I think the mood will be as upbeat as possible under the circumstances.
When a few blocks away, the search for now more than 5,000 missing victims of this disaster goes on. Hundreds and hundreds of workers, rescue workers, they're trying to find those bodies and hopefully find some who can be rescued. What are your emotions tonight as you get ready to go to work tomorrow?
Well, I'm very sad, and I have been sad for days like most people. And every once in a while I find tears coming to my eyes, and I mean, it's just terrible. But Wednesday I was frozen, and Thursday I started to work a little bit from home, and Friday a little more, and I've been downtown both yesterday and today. And it's like falling off a horse. You just have to get back on and keep going.
Well, Christine Romans, Ted, we have not let get off that horse. She has been there day after day. Christine, your thoughts as you get ready to go back to work tomorrow morning?
Well, you know, one thing that traders and investors and hedge fund managers keep telling me is it would be foolhardy to try to predict exactly what's going to happen on the open, but it would be foolish not to be ready for absolutely any scenario. And they're saying they're going to sit back, they're going to look at their screens, they're going to answer their phones, and whatever investors throw at them, they're going to have to execute those orders. And it's almost as though they are the rescue workers in a way when they say, you know, all we can do, we can't go there and dig out bodies, but we can go there and we can start trading stocks again and show America and the rest of the world that you've got to get back to business and the economic machine rolls on. But Lou, there are some curbs and there's some trading limits, of course, in futures and in the Dow as well. So any kind of big sell-off, there will be levels. If that were to happen, there would be levels that would mitigate that. And
has been pointed out by a lot of people, the best way to defeat terrorists is to show that we simply cannot be defeated and to move ahead with our work and our lives. Ted, I want to thank you for being with us. Christine, thank you very much. We're going to go now to the chairman of the New York Stock Exchange, Dick Grasso. He is the man responsible for moving this incredible enterprise back into operation, 9:30 tomorrow morning. Dick, I know this is a difficult time for you. You couldn't be busier. We appreciate you taking the time. How goes it?
Good evening, Lou. Great to be with you. It's been a difficult time for all Americans, but as one of your guests said earlier, we are ready to go 9:30 tomorrow morning, and the best way of communicating to these criminals that they've been unsuccessful is for us to ring that bell and be back in business, and we intend to do that.
Dick, we've heard from a number of people that they are concerned about transportation into the region. Thousands of people have to get there not only to work at the exchange, but to provide you the necessary support to conduct some $45 to $50 billion worth of business every day. How does that look to you tonight?
It looks great, Lou, and my deep thanks to the city and state and federal agencies who have worked tirelessly to make certain that all forms of public transportation that can indeed be delivered to the southern tip of Lower Manhattan will be in place, and we've got some new forms and some new routes, so we're very comfortable. And thanks to the tens of thousands of hardworking people from the city and state, we're back in business.
Good. Dick, let's talk about a few practical matters. 1, short selling. 2, liquidity. How you're going to conduct an orderly market. 3, how to clear it. Any special provisions there that you can share with us tonight?
Well, as to short selling or any one particular investment strategy, all have been, in essence, cleared to come back into the market, Lou. I think it's important, as Chairman Hart, who's done a magnificent job, has said, we should not restrict the free market process from working. However, the government, and again, I've got to give great credit to Treasury Secretary O'Neill, to Harvey Pitt, the chairman of the SEC, to Alan Greenspan and the folks from the New York Fed, have said we're going to make it easier for companies to buy back their shares. Public pension plans have communicated their great faith in the marketplace. Lou, as time and again history has proven, America in a moment of challenge rises, and indeed we will overcome this moment of great tragedy.
Dick, we thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. when you open for business, and Treasury Secretary Paul